good whenever it might be. Welcome to the October 30th edition of Tip Off, recorded at 6:23 Mountain Time in the morning, coming to you live from Philadelphia. I'm David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, Jazz NBA insider. We'll do the NBA 5, looking at what took place in the NBA last night, news around the league. Then we will dig into J Okafor's fabulous offensive prowess that the Jazz have to deal with tonight. And finally, we'll look at the Jazz late game offensive execution with the triple wing and how they looked. And actually, I'll be honest with you, I have changed my routine. I'm working out first thing in the morning on the road and then coming to do this. So I haven't watched those. We're going to watch those together for the first time, kind of have the same reaction together. We'll do the video and then the dots together on that. It is a Friday question Friday, hashtag lock tip off. I'm not sure if I'll get to it or not. Our back time is when I Skype with the kids in the morning. So we got to make sure we get to that. So let's get right to the show. Obviously, we like to start the show every day with our pins across the world. Pins across the world. What you do is, if wherever you might be listening to this show, send me an email at dlock09. Let me know a little bit about you. What I'd like to know is your name, things like that. But then also where and how you became a Jazz fan. What your backstory is to becoming a Jazz fan. On the road, I have tried to do a little bit of the pins across the world, being people that are somewhere in the vicinity of where we are. And some people have actually even been smart enough to kind of put where they are coming from. Of course, the guy who did it for me today, I can't find. So, I'm going to have to go back to my regular feature here on the program. I was planning to highlight somebody from Pennsylvania who I saw emailed me the other day, and somehow it is not in my notes the same way. So feel free. The point of that is, if you know you're in town where we are and you deserve a shout out because of the fact that you're in that city and a pin across the world, then please do. But we're going to go back to our regular form because I couldn't find a good friend in Pennsylvania, so I apologize to that. So let's go to Grant Eager. He's putting a pin in Palmdale, California. I remember when the Jazz drafted Karl Malone, he's supposed to be the number 5, slipped all the way down the Jazz. I was so excited. I ran a red light and got a ticket. Looking back, totally justified. Still more in the Jazz trading away Adrian Dantley and Ricky Green. I always felt they would have won a title if they'd kept them, and because the guys who played in front of them weren't that good. And I'm one of those crazy fans who follows Fosenko in Outer Mongolia Basketball League and still hopes he'll one day rejoin the Jazz. I download your podcast on my phone at lunch and listen while I eat. Well, Grant, I hope you're having a nice meal today, and thanks for tuning in. All right, let's get right to the NBA 5. I'm reading the book Mindset, which is about fixed mindset versus growth mindset in individuals and companies. I got to say, really interesting book in relation to, 1, life, 2, parenting, and then on my reading quotes from players and whether they take blame or are growth mindset. Gordon Hayward is the ultimate growth mindset. The organizations, I'd say the Spurs are a growth mindset, whereas the Lakers are kind of a fixed mindset, think they're better and superior than anyone, don't need to adapt. Very, very fascinating to look at and kind of view the NBA through it. Good book as well. The sports section kind of sucked, frankly, and so, makes you wonder, does the corporate section, where I don't know the corporate stuff as well as it is bad. It's, all of these books out there, frankly, I have 2 feelings on all these books. One is that they're just really long articles, but you don't make money for an article, so you turn them into books. And 2, everything in the books are tried to be made black and white, and truthfully, they aren't black and white, and so it's a little misleading. But I think this one's good. I think it's interesting as a parent. I think it's interesting as someone who works in sports. It's probably worth grabbing along the way. The other one, by the way, just has nothing to do with sports that I would say that's true on, is How to Raise a Parent. How to Raise an Adult. Actually might have something to do with sports, on how our kids adjust when they come into the league if their parents have been helicopters. So anyway, Pacers Grizzlies last night. That game's tied late, and then in Indiana it goes all Grizz, which I thought was really interesting, and that's where you see the continuity and the togetherness. And I have never been a huge Paul George guy. Frankly, he strikes me as somebody who thinks he's far better than he is, which bugs me. He's really good, and the injury was really tragic. But he should have taken over that game if he's the best player in the NBA, as he says. He's been shooting 28% in the first 2 games. So the new system is not working for him particularly well. Hopefully this is not a sign that he's not back and never going to be, and it's never the same. But they started Jordan Hill last night, which against the Grizzlies, which is what I assume they'll do with us. Kyle Korver last night, 15 points on 8 shots. Carmelo Anthony, 27 shots for his 25 points. And somehow most people in this league still think Carmelo is in a sense, is a better offensive player than Korver. There's nothing at all where that's the case. This is where Pack is very valuable. Korver, 15 points on 8 shots. If Kyle Korver has a day like that, Atlanta wins. Pack on 8 shots is probably close to 9 or 10 points. So Korver has you in 8 shots, 5 points above average, which means that the other, if the rest of your guys are just average, you as a team are 5 points above average. The other team has got to have a great game. So you get Kyle Korver going, and Atlanta, frankly, is completely dependent on Korver. I mean, he was a notch below Steph Curry and James Harden last year in impact on games. That's why they won 60 games. The league still hasn't gotten this figured out. And those who do will be successful. It's while Rodney went 0 for 7 from 3, taking 7 threes is the right thing to do. Now he's got to make them. And, it's far better, by the way, for him to go 3 for 7 every night, or 2 for 7 to be 5 of 14, 5 of 14, 35%, than this 0 for 7, 5 for 7 one day. It just makes us a 5. You got to get some consistency. Devin Harris looked really good last night. I'm watching him in the Dallas game. Darren Williams didn't play again. I'm watching him in the Dallas game. And the reality I suddenly had last night? He's the best point guard we've had since Darren. Devin Harris is the best point guard we've had since Darren. Wesley Matthews did not play last night. A back end of back-to-back. Darren didn't play. Jeremy Evans got the start. Didn't work out very well, but still rooting for Jeremy. All right, let's take a look at tonight's opponent, J Okafor. This kid is just terrific. I mean, terrific offensively. Now, it took till the first minutes of the second quarter for them to finally start double teaming him. But they did. And Jalil is this big guy right here. And this is what the Jazz are going to have to combat tonight. This is as impressive an offensive skill set as I've seen on a young kid in this league. And these are his first 5 shots of the other night. He goes 5 for 5 to start the night. He's big and agile and with great footwork, and he kills Cody Zeller. So Gobert is going to be bigger and longer than that, but Jalil is much stronger than he was. This is their game the other night. Here he is running the floor pretty well. And then he'll just line up Zeller, calmly go to work, doesn't have to use the arm to hook, and able to just flip it up and in. I mean, he kills Cody Zeller to the point they start Jared Sullinger in the second half. And again, Gobert and Favors are better defensive players than Zeller. Here he is again. Just lines him up, crossover, spin back, bring it back, score. Man. They don't give him that one. By the second quarter, whenever he put the ball on the floor, they were double teaming him. And that bothered him. He's a willing passer, but he doesn't feel it yet. Here he goes reverse side up and under. They cut it off early, which is really too bad. That was a sick move. He took him left, mid-block left, straightened up on him, went baseline, came reverse side up and under. He's really skilled. Here he is on a high pick and roll. Looking to distribute. It's not there. This is beating Sullinger's much bigger body with fabulous footwork. Nothing Rudy or Derek's going to be able to do with that. Oh, we get a commercial whether we want it or not. That's new by the NBA. I think that's actually all I wanted, but it's not allowing me out of this yet. So we have to watch, or you don't have to. I can stop sharing, and then you get my ugly mug instead. All right, the other one I wanted to look at was the Jazz final possessions the other night. This will be a little rocky, but before we get into that, a few things. I don't know what happened on the internet yesterday. Actually, I really don't. I got the vibe of it from, but let me make a quick comment. And I don't really give a crap who I offend on this because this is the truth. Here's the deal with the internet and the new world of journalism we live in right now. There is a complete difference between writing because with a chance to get fired and writing without a chance to get fired. Okay? Aaron Falk and could get fired if they write inaccurate, crazy crap or are wrong or incorrect or misrepresent something have to be viewed at a higher level than everybody else that's writing on the internet. You just have to. They're trained, hired journalists who have a responsibility and an obligation and a standard. Now, before you lose your mind, listen for a second. Now, the next group of people on the internet are clearly dividable by those that over time earn your trust. Write good enough pieces that you learn to trust them and believe what they're saying. Ben Dowsett is a nice example of that at Salt City Hoops. Most of the time at SLC Dunk, I think that's a good example. I think they do fabulous work. I've always felt that way, even though I'm not their favorite. They do fabulous work. Okay? You have to take a second, though, and read the byline, who it is, and realize what it's coming from. It can, in this day and age, any halfwit can put something up on the internet with a big headline, a nice fancy company behind it, and put it out there because they just need clicks. And if it's crazier and the most absurd thing you can, they get away with it. I think it was about 15 months ago. There's a buffoon out there, I don't even know his name anymore, frankly, who wrote a piece about how Derek Favors was the next Kwame Brown. And it was on like a nice site. I think it was on Fanside. Fanside's decent, but they let anyone on because they're accumulating clicks. You've got to take a moment when you're reading these people and looking at this stuff and understand the premise and the standard by which they are writing from. It's relevant. Frankly, it's a hell of a lot more important in everything but sports. The same stuff's going on politically. The same stuff's going on in everything. The person who writes their little post on Facebook sometimes, I would argue, has more connection to it than a byline on one of these places, because at least they're responding to their friends and they have to stand up for it when they go out next time. I didn't follow it, but I can give you, here's where I'm coming from. I got an email from a listener who said to me, have you it's something's happened on, I've lost a label here. There we go. Let's see here. I'll share the interplay. I might have deleted it that I had with a listener yesterday. He emails me and tells me that there's something going on with some guy's article, and my reaction was, I don't know him. don't have any record of him not reading it. Okay? It's really simple. By the way, Dax Kiger, I just found your email, so I apologize I didn't use you for pins across. So you just be aware. It's all, it's seriously, just because it's written on the internet doesn't mean who wrote it has any validity. Jody, Aaron have to be looked at. Andy, I think, probably deserves to go in this group now. These Reddit and KSL.com have to be looked at a much higher, more reasonable level. And then let people earn your trust. And then if you've never heard of someone again and they write something that's insane, like the buffoon that thought Derek Favors was Kwame Brown, if he's a buffoon, don't react. See, the season has started. I have to get rid of mentions and everything because I start becoming a lunatic. All right, that's my feeling of the day. All right, let's watch. So here's the story. This is a big focus on the Jazz. We can't figure out how to win the close ones. A little bit of our problem on the close ones, by the way, and why our numbers are so bad. 29th in the league in field goal percentage last year in the final 5 minutes of a close game. 30th in the league in 3-point percentage in the final 5 minutes of a close game is because we start down 5, frankly. We started the 5-minute mark the other night down 81-76. We run a great play, get Favors 2 free throws. And here, let's see if we can get the video up and rolling here today. See how many ads they're going to make us watch. Of course, the NBA.com site, as those who have done this with me before know, is just the most radically inconsistent site that's out there. And so you just really never quite know whether it's going to work or not, which is always a little bit of a mystery. All right, so 4:23 left. We're down 5. And Raul Neto is going to miss a jump shot right here. And we're going to pull it up, hopefully not get an ad. And let's watch the So this is the Pistons have the ball. Our defense just becomes incredible. Here's one of the huge plays of the game of the night. Favors stymies Reggie Jackson the 3 times they get switched on him. That time, by that point of the night, Jackson's not even trying anymore. Neto did not practice yesterday, by the way. All right, so here's Alec. Quick pick and roll with Rudy. What just happened? Did I lose all video? Jump shot. Instead, it was something else. Let's see if we can find the next one. This is, I said, I didn't have time to preview this. It is far better when I preview it. I agree. All right, so here we go. That's the big 3 by Reggie Jackson. We're now down 6. And we get it. Come on, NBA, really? Really? All right. I think this is going to be failed. It's nice, though, that you guys actually on the screen share can see that I'm actually clicking on to the right buttons. Here's a Hayward turnover. You think there's any chance we get the right video on it? This sucks. See? Shouldn't take me. I should lose your trust. You should no longer credibly listen to what I'm telling you after this disaster right here. Looks like Gordon just turned that over. From the looks of it, he looks upset, and the Pistons have the ball, and there's no clickage here of a Gordon timeout. The Jazz playing some pretty good defense here. Rodney Hood fights through the pick, gets back through another one. Favors shows out nicely. Hood digs down nicely, forces Drummond into a bad shot. All right, so I apologize. The NBA.com. It's funny, I opened the show by saying I usually have these things previewed, and today I don't. And, of course, what happens, but I look absurd because of it. All right, so after that diatribe, you can now make fun of me and talk about how you've lost trust in me. Though I can get fired for saying the wrong thing, which hopefully gives me a little more things. You can disagree with me on that. I'm right on that one. There's a lot of crap I tell you where I'm wrong. That one I'm right. So a few other notes on the Jazz. Mid-range shots, way too many the other night. And this is, we played around with this the other day with Alec, and I actually did the math wrong. If you want to walk through this again, this is pretty crazy the more I think about this, and is a bigger issue the more I think about it. So here, let's walk through this together. Let's play a little calculator game. I'll pull up a calculator. This one I know will work. Oh my gosh, this is going to be incredible journalism here because you get a calculator on your screen. All right, so if the Jazz are taking 75 shots a night, and as of right now, Alec is taking 15 of them, right? But the league average in the preseason was 25% of all shots were threes. I said 20 yesterday, but it's 25. You want to be right around there. And so that would mean that if the Jazz are taking 75 shots in their slow-paced game, they want to take 19 threes a night. Okay? Let's remember that little number, 19. So if the Jazz are taking 75 shots a night and 15 of them are coming from Alec and he doesn't attempt a three, we're down to 60 shots a night. Okay, that's where I stopped it yesterday, saying, okay, now, however, here's what gets crazy. Derek Favors, with the makeup of this roster, Derek Favors and Rudy Gobert are not going to take threes and are in all likelihood going to use close to 20 shots a night. We are now at 40 shots remaining. And how many threes do we have to take? 19. Okay, you can do this math. It's pretty close. That means that Trey Burke, Howell Neto, Gordon Hayward, Rodney Hood, and all the Trevor Booker, Joe Ingles, anybody else on the team who shoots has to take half of their shots as threes for the Jazz to be able to get at the league average rate of threes a game if, in fact, Alec Burks is going to play and take 15 shots and not take a three. And if you really want to kind of delve into that even deeper, okay, Trevor's probably taking 5 or 6 shots, and he might not be taking three. He might be taking one a game now. So you're suddenly Gordon, Trey, Howell have to suddenly take half their shots as threes. Well, no one does that. I mean, seriously, no one uses 50% of their possessions to shoot threes. JJ Redick, Wesley Matthews, very, very, very few guys. Including turnovers last year, Joe Ingles was at 43%. Gordon Hayward was at 22%. If you take away the turnovers, I can't quite do it, but he's probably a little higher because it has free throws in there too, frankly. But, Gordon was 2-1 twos to threes last year. Trey Burke was about 2-1, little more, about 1.5 to 1. I mean, these guys really have to just become complete three-point shooting bombs if you're going to have Derek, Rudy, and Alec all using this many possessions without shooting threes. The construction right now, if Alec is not a three-point going to take any threes, is hard on this roster. All right. By the way, Trey Burke with the starters the other night, Jazz were, I think, even or +2. I posted it last night. Really, Trey with Alec was a mess. 10 minutes, -15, team shot 3 of 15. Now, it was also on the floor with Trey Lyles instead of Trevor Booker, and there's a lot. There's too much data out there with not enough sample size right now. But I'm still going to play with it. You are too. Rightfully so. All right, have a great day. Enjoy yourself. Talk to you later.